Hello and happy 2023. This is my first hike of the year. I'm just really excited to get outside. I am planning on doing a lot more hiking in 2023 than I did in 2022. So I'm getting off on a good start. I am here in Franconia and I'm gonna hike Mount Pemigewasset and I'm really excited to show you guys. It did rain the entire way up here, and when I pulled into the parking lot, it wasn't raining, so that's good timing. But I'm still putting on this rain jacket because it's a little chilly and I think it'll keep me warm. Plus, it's a brand new rain jacket and I'm just excited to try it out. The ground up here feels super slippery, so I am not getting close to the edge at all. A little scary. It definitely is a cloudy day, but you can still see the mountains and a little bit out into the distance. It's misting a little bit, but it's not too bad. I'm gonna take off my backpack for a couple minutes, have a quick snack, hydrate a little bit more, and then head down. About a week ago, I put on my Instagram stories a spot for you guys to ask some questions, and I got some good ones. So I want to start answering some of those for you. Questions about hikes, about life updates, and of course, everyone wants to know my future plans for hiking in 2023. So I'll touch on that a little bit. So first is, how hard is it to backpack for the first time by yourself if you don't have any experience? So I can just kind of speak from my experience. I watched so many videos on people backpacking on YouTube, and I did so much research on my gear. So when I finally had all my gear, I went to a place that was pretty familiar to me, and I went to a place where I figured there'd be other hikers. So it was a spot on the Appalachian Trail in August. So I figured that's kind of where the bubble was. I went to a campsite that had a caretaker, so I knew for sure there'd be at least one person there. And I just took it really easy. I got to my campsite at 3 p.m. I got there so early, made sure all my gear was set up, and that way if anything didn't really go to plan, I had enough time to just hike 3 miles back to my car. And kind of just go home and try again another day. But even before that trip, I took all my stuff to the backyard and camped there. That way I knew that, I don't know, my tent worked and that I felt comfortable sleeping in my tent. And that would be my piece of advice. Just like start in your backyard, start maybe a mile away from your car, and then kind of graduate to doing longer backpacking trips, sleeping further away from your car or the trailhead or wherever. Just work yourself up and just do what feels comfortable to you. This one I've been thinking about for the last 5 minutes, and that's, what piece of hiking gear should you not skimp on? And if we're just talking like hiking gear, day hiking gear, and not stuff that you need for an overnight trip, I don't think you need to spend money on day hiking gear. Like, wear the clothing and the shoes that you already have, wear a backpack that you probably got for free at some fundraiser. And it's hard because sometimes I day hike in a $12 rain jacket, and today I'm hiking in a $300 rain jacket. And I have a good experience either way. So I'm not sure the answer to that question. If you really want to splurge, you can get a Garmin InReach. That way you can communicate, call SOS. I'm a huge fan of my Garmin InReach. If we're talking backpacking gear, I say definitely don't skimp on your big three. Those are going to be the most expensive pieces of gear and also the most important. So you want to invest in a good tent, sleeping bag, and sleeping pad. Those kind of go hand in hand, and a good backpack. For me, I splurged the most on my tent. Just getting something that was super lightweight, super waterproof, reliable, durable, all those things. So I think that's a good answer. I think I answered that question. Did I get any cool hiking related Christmas presents? I got a couple that you've seen on this hike already. I have this water bottle here that fits in this water bottle pouch, and it has a straw with like a little bite valve on it. and it's so much easier just drinking from this than taking something out, unscrewing it, drinking it, putting it back in. This is just so convenient, and I think it's much more convenient than having a full water bladder and the back of the backpack that you kind of have to like take out, fill up, and do all that. It's half a liter, so it's more than it looks, and I already drank through one of these and then I filled it up quick on the summit, and now I'm drinking it again. It's got a drink mix in it, so I'm really happy with this. And also earlier you probably noticed I had a microphone. That's a new piece of gear, a wireless mic, so I can film myself further away from the camera and you can still hear me, because I've had a couple YouTube videos with some audio issues. So I'm really excited about that for making videos in 2023. My favorite hike over 4,000 feet and my favorite hike under 4,000 feet. It's hard to just have like one specific answer, because I have favorite hikes depending on the season and how much time I have. So just in general, I think my favorite 4,000 footer is Mount Lincoln. It's just such a classic, Franconia Ridge. I've done it so many times and it's always gorgeous. I have not done Mount Lincoln in the winter, and that's something I hope to do on a good weather day when the conditions are good, and maybe I have a buddy to take along with me. So hopefully I can experience that this season. My favorite hike under 4,000 feet is going to be a hike closer to where I live in the Lakes region. Just something I can do quick before or after work, or when I only have to work a half day. And that's going to be the Piper Belknap Gunstock Loop. So I hit 3 summits in one hike, and it's about 5 miles. And I absolutely love doing that. It's not too tough, but it's very rewarding. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. And also my favorite hike outside of New England, I want to say Dragon's Tooth in Virginia. It was part of the Virginia Triple Crown, and I always said if I had to redo a section of the AT not in New England, it would be Dragon's Tooth. It was really cool. It was this big rock formation that we were climbing up and just hung out there for a while. It was just really fun, and it was just like a different type of hike, not just a normal summit. Just that Dragon's Tooth feature was really neat. So when did I start hiking in life? I did a tiny bit of hiking when I was a kid, but really not much at all. I didn't start hiking until 2016 or 2015 when I moved to New Hampshire during college. I didn't know anyone else that lived in New Hampshire. I started doing some easy hikes by myself, and I just got hooked, started reading books, getting more ideas on different hikes I can do. And once I discovered the 4,000 footers and hiked, I think 2 of them, then I knew at that moment I was going to do the rest of the 4,000 footers, and then I would find another list and do that. So I didn't start hiking when I was a kid. I was 21, but I did get hooked on hiking really fast after I started. Someone wants to know about my 100-mile wilderness experience during my AT thru hike. That was a roller coaster. I spent 4 days in the 100-mile wilderness, and I was exhausted. This was 2,100 miles into my thru hike. It was the end of June. It was starting to get hot. It was super buggy. And just all the emotions of being so close to the end, and honestly just kind of being over it and wanting to be at my house, it did not put me in a good mood. So between the bugs, the heat, me just wanting to go home and be clean, take a shower, it was rough. It was beautiful in spots. There's lots of lakes and the terrain was not hard. There are a couple hills, mountains here and there. But it was rough. It would be cool to southbound and to have that be the first 4 days of my thru hike, but I just don't think a southbound AT hike works with my schedule of needing to be at work in the summer. But maybe if I like section hiked, I'm just thinking of this now, if I section hiked the 100-mile wilderness, I think that could be really fun. So maybe I could plan that. Wow, I literally just thought of that. I need to do a section hike of the 100-mile wilderness and experience that in a good mood. And last one before my big what am I doing in 2023 question, what's my favorite season to hike in? And for me, it's either summer or fall. The winter is kind of tough to hike in because the days are really short, it's really cold, and I'm usually really busy with work, and a lot of my days off I spend skiing. So I just generally don't have as much time in the winter to hike. But on some of the days where the trail is nice and there's a lot of snow, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I do have a lot of fun on those hikes. Spring is just known for being really bad hiking in this area. The snow's melting, the trails are really muddy, and it's just kind of gross. Also, the water crossings can get really dangerous in the spring. So I rarely hike in the spring, or I don't really do any big hikes. I'll just do some small local ones to get me out and exercising. Fall is, of course, absolutely gorgeous in fall foliage season, and the weather's not too hot, so that's one of my favorites. And then summer is probably my favorite just because of how long the days are. I can do longer hikes, I don't have to hike in the dark, and it's just nice warm weather. I'm not gonna hike on days it's absolutely too hot and I feel like I'm gonna like sweat myself to death, but I really do like the summer. I think it's gorgeous up here. I guess now we can talk a little bit about 2023. So I don't want to share my specific plans for a couple reasons, but I do want to share that I am doing a big hike. So take that as you want. I'm planning something big that's going to be a couple months long, and I'm getting really excited about it, buying all the gear, figuring out things at home so I can leave for that amount of time. But for this hike, I don't really want to share what I'm doing until I'm actually on the trail. That way I can prepare for the hike without pressure, I guess, without thousands of people knowing what I'm doing. But once I get settled on the trail, I will start posting daily vlogs and gear lists and all the typical things I would do during a big hike. So I'm excited to share that adventure with you in the future, but in the meantime I'll be doing winter hikes in New Hampshire, talking about gear and doing all the normal things on my YouTube channel. So subscribe if you want to stay tuned for my 2023 adventures, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!